Tuesday morning, everyone. Jenna Wolf alongside Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wildes. Nick, JJ to the Cardinals. Did that surprise you at all?
It's shocking. I am legitimately gobsmacked. This is the team he chose. But we'll see if it works.
Gobsmacked.
Why? Why?
We got a gobsmack. All right, we'll get all into that, but we got to start talking some James Harden. The name not in most MVP conversations, just might be in some MVP conversations after last night. Nets and Spurs and the beard with, I'll say it, his best night as a Net. Put up a triple-double, helped Brooklyn to the win in overtime. That's 7 triple-doubles now for Harden in 22 games with Brooklyn. KD who? Nets over the Spurs. Here's Kyrie on his backcourt BFF.
When James is being James, it makes all our job a lot easier. And, like I said, we got to get used to somebody special like that doing, things like that in terms of breaking records. So I can't wait to be right alongside him with my name in Nets history. Alongside KD, alongside BB, alongside Joe, alongside all the guys on our team where we're just breaking records as a team. And then individually, we're stacking up with some of the best to ever play. So that's a pretty great child.
Really? With the stick? I'll go only if I can bring my stick. Brandon, has James Harden officially entered the MVP discussion?
Well, we'll see if he's officially entered Nick's MVP discussion and Wild's MVP discussion. But last week when we talked about it, I believe Nick and Chris laughed at me when I said, you know what, there's Joel Embiid right here, and then there's the rest of the Nets. And I talked about James Harden. What I talked about was the sacrifice that he was willing to make, he has made since he's come over from Houston. And also the trust. That's another thing that's come out over the last couple games is trust. This dude isn't even breaking a sweat when he's out there. It's like he's playing backyard basketball. He's dribbling. He's kicking it. He's playing around. It's like, you know what? If I can't do it, I know my teammates can do it. This is a special team. Sometimes we forget about the mentality that these players have. He heard us talking about him not playing defense. He heard us talking about pretty much being a ball hog and not getting other guys involved. And that was a big red flag coming in was, well, how are these 3 guys going to do it? How are they going to come together? Like, we understand how LeBron and D. Wade and Chris Bosh did it because they weren't all 3 ball-dominant guys. These are 3 ball-dominant guys coming together and making it work. I know KD hasn't been around, but this dude said, you know what, I'll be the one to sacrifice, and he's still finding a way to put up 25, 8, and 11. This dude is sensational, and there's 2 words we need to take from here: sacrifice and trust.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so I agree with a lot of that. James Harden's awesome. James Harden's been awesome for a very, very long time. And we can set aside the napalming he did to the Houston locker room since that didn't happen this season. It shouldn't affect this. Oh, that did happen this season, so it should affect this year's MVP discussion. But we still can set it aside. We can still put it in a different category. But when I used to live in Houston, you know what Houston fans would say, even though it's one of the 5 biggest cities in the country? We're treated like a small market. We're not a coastal city, and those coastal elites ignore us, ignore our athletes. And I said, guys, shut up. That doesn't actually happen. And now that I live on the coast and I see some of the media coverage of the reinvented James Harden, you know what? I think my friends in Texas might have been right. Because, Kevin Wildes, I want to show you something. Here are 4 stat lines. And you can tell me which one you find the most impressive. The first one, 29, 8, and 11. Second one, 36, 6, and 7. 34, 6, and 7. And then 25, 7, and 11. Now, before we reveal them, we could argue about what the most impressive is. But I think everyone would agree the least impressive is the last one. He's averaged more assists, more rebounds, and it's the fewest points. Can we show those 4 years, please? Who are this? Oh, wait. Those are 4 James Harden years. And what do they all have in common? None of those years he won MVP. I took out his 2018 year when he actually did win the MVP. So if James Harden is an MVP candidate averaging 25 and 11, one must wonder why he didn't win it when he averaged 29 and 11. Why he didn't win it when he averaged 36 or 34. So is it a new and improved James Harden, or is it a new set of eyeballs looking at James Harden? And again, forget the napalming of the locker room, Wilds, because Latrell Sprewell's sitting there saying, hey, I know I choked PJ Carlissimo, but I was an all-star that year. I got snubbed. You can't hold that one thing against me. So I'm just asking, is it actually a new James Harden or not? I don't know. Maybe it's just a new team.
I like this. I like this. As a Coastal Elite, I apologize for not paying attention to those last few years while you were down in Houston. I apologize. I was too busy out on my yacht, you know, having liberal ideas.
On the Cape. Yep.
All right. So I want to address the napalming of Houston, where I think that's why people are taking him straight up out of the conversation. We're like, you can't be MVP because you weren't MVP for Houston. That is not his fault, and I don't think it should be held against him. First of all, there was 9 games in Houston while he was on the squad. He straight up told Raphael Stone, hey, guys, I don't want to be here. And they're like, well, we're willing to get uncomfortable. And James Harden says, all right, you know what? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. He comes out, he scores 44, he scores 34, he scores 33. And the Rockets are like, our plan is working. We won't give in. He's like, all right, now I'm going to take a game off, and then I'm going to start scoring in the teens. So out of those 9 games, he played hard for 3, and then he sort of leaned back so he could force his trade to Brooklyn. Now, if you want those to disqualify you, let's just cross them out, Nick. Let's just assume they never happened, and I will give you 2 historical precedents. So he didn't play 6 games for the Rockets. We're going to throw those in the garbage. Bill Walton in 1977 broke his foot, missed 14 games, and won MVP. And then in 1956, I was a young boy. I was 12 years old. 1956, Bob Cousy missed 8 games and won MVP.
You weren't 12.
I agree with you that, you know, our Coastal Elites did not pay attention to James Harden enough, perhaps. But I think that the Rockets sort of, let's say he gave up. I don't think that should be held against him. I know it sounds funny, but just cross him off. And just like Bob Cousy missed games, and just like Bill Walton missed games, I still think he should be in the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely he should be in the conversation. Is because of what he's doing. There's 3 teams, that should win the title. And there's a couple teams that can. And those 3 teams that should, we're talking about the LA Clippers and the Lakers and the Nets. Everybody else is just like, oh, yeah, he has Giannis. They can win it. Oh, look at the 76ers. They're in the East, and they have Embiid. He's playing lights out, and they can win it. If you take out James Harden from this situation in Brooklyn, I don't know if we have a championship team there. I think we have a team that's competitive, but I don't even know if they make it out of the East, Nick, given how the 76ers and Embiid is playing. So for me right now, I have Embiid at the top for the MVP race, and then I have James Harden, and then I have a few other guys. You got LeBron James, and I still will throw Kyrie in there as well. He's having a sensational year.
Nice.
Okay, so a few things. One is the Nets didn't start the season with Harden, and plenty of people,
correct,
I think even some people on this show, picked them to win the East. So we do know that the Nets, before Harden got there, were a trendy pick to get out of the East. And one of the reasons right now they are so reliant on Harden is because of the players they traded away to get him. But to Wild's ludicrous Bob Cousy comp, he didn't miss games. He played in games and quit on his team. And Wild's earmuffs, buddy, because Harden.
He didn't quit on his team.
You're allowed to miss games due to injuries. He did. It's fine. He forced his way out. And Wild, you're going to get upset here, and I apologize, because we all love this guy, and you deeply, personally love this guy. But there is a comp for this, and he was penalized greatly in the MVP voting. The comp is Vince Carter. Vince Carter wanted out of Toronto, forced his way out by basically mailing in games, got to New Jersey, the same Nets team, by the way, not only averaged 27 a game, but that team started the year 2 4-11. He carried them to the playoffs. Down the stretch, they had to win every game in the Final Four. He averaged 30.